have entered the ritual.
Sit back and enjoy this wonderful show here in Podbean with your wonderful hosts, Spiritual Medium Chris and Jillian. They'll be sitting down and discussing nature topics and also interviewing a lot of people within the spiritual community. That's not only spiritual, but also with cryptic and paranormal. Join us now here on the Divine Oracle Podcast, only on Podbean.
Enter the hidden circle. The veil is thin.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Today it is November and today is the 24th. It's great to have you guys here. It's soon to be Christmas time. I know a lot of people don't like that word Christmas, but Jill, how are you doing?
Tired.
That's like
always tired.
It's like us. So yes, but I know you're tired, but are you ready to bring in our guest?
Yeah, she is a psychic medium and a palm reader. Her name is Mystic Mandy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, Mystic Mandy, would you like to let our listeners know a little bit about you by any chance?
Sure. So I'm a third generation psychic medium. My biggest mentor and my biggest support has been my mother, who is also a psychic medium in the Muskoka area, which is where I grew up. I travel all over Ontario and across Canada, sharing my gift with others through different trade shows and stuff like that, as well as I am online with a company called Ask the Answer out of the UK that I work for. And I've always been able to see people's lives unfolding when I look at their hands. It's kind of what I describe as equivalent to looking at a book. As they open their hands up to me, it's like the pages are turning and I'm seeing the stories unfold.
Okay. All right. So you're saying like third generation. That's sort of like with me. I'm actually also third generation also. Now underneath your website, which is mysticmandy.ca, it says Muskoka. Now, for those that sort of know Ontario, Muskoka is a large area. Geographic, what area of Muskoka are you?
Basically between Severn and Bracebridge is where I am. That's where I do the majority of my in-person readings and that sort of thing in. But as I say, I travel all over the place.
Yeah. Now, palmistry, though, how long have you been doing palmistry by any chance?
Actually, I started having a fascination with the hands as early as 11 years old. And it happened to be that a girlfriend of mine in school had seen a palm reader when she'd gone vacation with her parents. And I started looking at the lines in the hands from that and studying it. And then what I discovered was, because I was very shy and even though I could read right from a young age, I was very shy and not too open to standing there and directly telling somebody what was going to happen next or something that I felt around them or anything like that. But I found that if I could look at their hands, if they would let me look at their hands, I could read the story from their hands. So it kind of became like a tool for me to sort of hide from as a child. I mean, obviously now very different, but back then that's how it worked for me. Was I realized that if I could just focus on their hands, it's like staring at the beam in the back of the room when you're in front of a group of people doing any sort of things in school when you're asked to stand up and do public speaking. It was sort of the same thing for me. Okay. But I always found the hands fascinating, and I discovered that the way certain lines connect in both hands can give a lot of information about where a person's at, whether they should be making a decision right away, all of those types of things that, at the end of the day is kind of crucial in everybody's life. That's generally what everybody is looking for is, should I jump now or should I wait? Am I on the right track or the right path? And so that's how it came through for me.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because I know palmistry is really pretty cool. That's one grasp I'm actually sort of studying right now is palmistry myself. I know Jill is actually at times though has been able to kind of look at people's palms also. What other type of readings do you do?
So I do mediumship. So I do connect with spirit on the other side. I also do oracle goddess card readings. So I mean, they are an oracle card, but I also do playing card tarot as well, which is a little different than your standard rider deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I know with reading normal playing cards, which is what you were just saying, though, that's one thing though that I've learned how to do at a very young age.
So during your self-discovery and your mediumship and your abilities, when did you decide to start using the cards?
You know, I didn't really start using the cards until I was like, honestly, until probably about 15 years ago or so now. And what I discovered was that the cards were more of a tool for the customer than they were for me. So it was how the cards laid out that they could see that confirmation of what had been said. So it was almost like everything was, because they could see it for themselves, it was like, oh, she just said that. So it wasn't as much for me as it was for the customer. It was their confirmation that what I had just picked up for them was again repeating itself, even though I had just shuffled the cards in front of them.
Yeah, I know some people need that visual effect, because when you're reading palms, they don't understand the lines, they don't understand the points, they don't understand the connections, the divisions, the separation.
Yeah.
You can look at the palm all you want. If you don't understand it, you're not going to get the reading. So the cards do make a big play. Have you considered using other forms of tools, or is it just kind of like a comfort zone thing?
I have considered it. I mean, I'm always growing and expanding and looking at different stuff. Like, I mean, I do teach intuitive classes as well, and I do manifestation classes and that sort of thing. I'm always being introduced to different, different things that come along, and I've considered looking at different stuff. This has just been what's worked, so I mean, it's kind of what I've stuck with. I'm always open to more, of course, but
now I know that you were just saying though that you do actually kind of work with people from overseas.
I work for a company called Ask the Answer.
Okay.
I've been with them for a little over a year now. They actually headhunted me and found me.
Okay.
So I've been with them now for just over a year. I guess it'll be like almost a year and a half, actually.
Oh.
But yeah, it's been fun because it's everybody. It's literally around the world that I'm reading for, which is awesome. So I mean, everything being energy and being able to pick up on it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously those people I'm not reading palms for because they're not sending me photos or nothing else. But yeah.
Like, I bet you're always getting slammed with a lot of people though lately, especially with the environment, and also with what's going actually on back in August on the 11th though, to do with the alignment. Am I correct?
Yeah, the biggest thing is that the biggest things that I'm discovering right now with people is, it was kind of a refreshing thing in one sense because, it's very easy to get trapped in your own mind or get trapped in the mindset of the customers that you're reaching in your own area. But what I've discovered is that, quite honestly, the troubles across the world are the same as the troubles that we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
And people's mindsets are very much the same. People are looking for the best tools and the best ways to align to be able to move forward in their own lives. Yeah. And everybody is sort of jumping on the bandwagon. The one thing that has been the most eye-opening is how many more individuals are, for lack of better words, awakening.
Do you find it's way bigger than what it used to be like a couple of years ago, or do you find actually it's
100%?
Okay.
Yeah. Like I always compare back to when I was a child and, I watched my mom work for the OPP and stuff on different cases and whatnot. And the way that people looked at her back then where the way that they look at those of us who are highly intuitive or have those connections or those gifts. Nowadays, we're honestly a hot commodity. Let's face facts, But back in those days, it was very different. And the thing is I feel like because we are looked at in that different way now, one, we're respected more. But the other thing is the people who have maybe been a bit skeptical or a bit questioning of it are finally coming on board and recognizing, one, that they have their own gifts, but also that we really are there to align and help people. It's not a case where we're trying to scam people or to hurt anybody with our gifts.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Now, do you do any teachings at all, by any chance?
I do. So most recently, we've had 2 8-week courses that I ran in Bracebridge. I am looking at doing one in the Aurelia area. I've been approached by a couple different businesses here that would like to have me come in. And so generally they run for 8 weeks. And the main focus or the main goal of it is so that people learn to trust their instincts, trust that extra sense that we all have, right? Trusting their gut instinct and learning how to use it in the right ways. That's usually where I go with that. I mean, yes, I open up things to other things, but I don't focus on, for instance, teaching people how to learn how to play or use tarot cards or use oracle cards, any of that. It's very focused on the intuition and how to use that in a positive way.
Yeah. I know we've done actually stuff actually at the Aurelia Opera House. Like we've done sort of podcasts there and also a live stream. But Aurelia, it does hold a lot of energy. So does the Muskoka area.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just surprising though, because again, I was up there in September and went to the locks up in Huntsville. And the energy there was like, wow. And then we went down to Bracebridge, and right where the flooding was, that just took place not that long ago. You could still feel the energy big time. How do you find the energy there compared to other locations?
I've always said that Muskoka as a whole is unique. There's a very different energy, as you're saying, between Gravenhurst to Bracebridge to Huntsville. Huntsville, I always feel like is a different gateway into a different area. I always feel like when I'm crossing through there, it's like I'm crossing a portal in a sense.
Yeah.
Because of the shift in the energy. Bracebridge, I always feel very grounded there, and whether it's because of all the rock and the granite that's there, I don't know, but I always feel that between that and the water that's always rushing through, it's like for me it's a spot of clearing. If I want to go somewhere and get my head in the right path, I go to Bracebridge and hang out by the waterfalls. That's my place to go. It's also where I go and drop anything that's not serving me well, and ask for it to be removed, because the rushing water and the granite there, that's going to take care of business.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed. Those usually whenever there's crystals in water, it's a major energy connector actually for a lot of things. There's some areas that don't have that, and if you're more in tune, it does actually hold a little bit better.
Yeah, I find that very much. I feel like the other thing that's that's so precious about the Muskoka area too is the fact that we've got such a rich history of the native lands and the people who have been here before us, and the fact that they were all connected with Mother Earth because of their beliefs and their traditions. Yeah. And I feel like that resonates. If you're anybody with any sort of ability, you naturally find yourself in connection and in tune with that.
So talking about Muskoka and the waters and the surrounding areas, do you find that you use that more for grounding or just purifying yourself and cleansing yourself?
I do it for both. I mean, I often spend a lot of time near the water when I'm meditating. I also have taken clients who have been struggling with things in their own life and showing them how that can help them in many ways. But, generally speaking, I find that that's my best source to keep myself grounded and really in that space that I need to be in so that I'm serving my customers the best.
Do you dip your toes in the water when you're grounding, or do you stand on the shores?
I actually go to the top of the one waterfall that I like the best, and so I actually stand on the granite at the top of the waterfalls, and I ask the granite to take anything that's not serving me, and then I also do put my feet in the rushing water as that clearing path, but also to refill me as well. So I love water clearings. I do the same thing even in showers at the end of a day. I wash everything that's not serving me and allow the water to fill me back up. So it's became a regular ritual. And honestly, I think it comes from even as a kid, because I was always in the water, right? That was where my happy place was. If I wasn't in the water, I was on the back of my horse. So it's always been that balance for me.
Is there any stories that you like to share with us by any chance, like even for our listeners, so that you've actually come across and people are very stunned about?
So I've had spirit hijack me on vacations. So, I've had a couple different occasions with that. I also was clinically dead and crossed over and saw the other side. There's a lot of fear behind death, and the best description I can give of it is that picture your most joyous time in life and the time that you were in absolute perfect form, where you didn't have any aches or pains or concerns. That's exactly what I turned back to. I literally remember skipping along the path and everything that had been bothering me was gone. I had nothing to worry about. It was absolute joy and bliss. I also recommend that people read the book, Heaven is for Real, because that is the best description of what I saw that there is out there. Everything that little boy experiences is very, very similar to what I experienced. And since I've been back from that trip, I've definitely had a different outlook on life. I mean, I certainly don't take it for granted, but at the same time, I am also not afraid to cross over whatsoever. And I feel like there's a lot of fear behind that for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know for myself that at the age of 12, I actually had an OBE experience. I was actually pronounced dead over 10 minutes. That's basically right when I grew a little bit more stronger within my spiritual. And I bet that actually helped out with you also, that you grew a little bit more actually stronger with your own spiritual side.
I did, in the sense of, the one thing is I didn't, not that I ever took my gift for granted. I don't think that I respected it the way that I do now. It's different in that sense. I have a much greater respect for it, and I also have a much greater respect for my guides and, the symbolism that I get from different things, whether it's the animals, for instance, or the synchronicity in numbers and that. I have a much bigger respect for that than I ever did before. And I feel like that's just because of the fact that, anything that I ever questioned has now been affirmed that it's absolutely 100% real.
So just to go back, though, your website, though, is mysticmandy.ca for our listeners. They can reach you at any time, pretty much?
24/7, my darling. The door is always open.
That's awesome. It's like and then to do with your services again, you want to sort of let our listeners know a little bit more about your services also?
Sure. So I do palm readings, but I offer 30-minute and 1-hour sessions, as well as I do bachelorette parties, birthday parties, different motivational speaking, along with manifestation boards and that sort of thing as well. And again, I travel all over Ontario, so actually across Canada now. So there's no limitations onto where I will go, then as well as the mediumship, obviously.
Okay, all right.
So you're well traveled. When you started traveling, do you remember the first place that you went to when you started traveling?
Perry Sound was the first show that I ever did. My mom actually gifted me my first business cards and my first banner for the show, and said to me, "Okay, enough's enough. It's time that you started using your gifts." I was supposed to be going there just to help her and work basically as her secretary, and she said, "Oh, by the way." So that was my birthday gift, and that was my first one. And then from there, it's about 10, 15 years ago now, I ventured out on my own because we were living in different areas. So I started following the Holistic Healing Fair, which of course is based out of Aurelia. And I've done many of their shows, but last year, for a prime example, I did 39 shows in total. So wow. I'm busy. I spend a lot of time in Fergus at the bookery and doing different events down there. And then I also go, I've been out east, done some different shows out there and different things there as well.
Awesome. Well, again, those for people though, I always suggest actually reach out with Mystic Mandy. It's been a great pleasure to have you. I know though that we would love to have you back later on throughout season 3, since season 3 does launch off in January. We would love to have you back.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and that way we can talk a little bit more. I know some stuff has happened actually up in your area. Don't need to get in detail actually on air, but things do happen, especially with nature. So, but yes, it's a great pleasure to have you here. So,
thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Catch us actually on December 5th on Krampus Day with Deanna Brown. See what she's been up to and what's taking place with over the year. This is a great pleasure to have you guys here on the Divine Oracle Podcast.